Hey guys, I'm your host Olivia and you're listening to BCT, a Christian podcast that enables you guys to hear people from all different backgrounds talking and sharing stories about their walk with Christ. Follow and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Today I'm joined by Craig Coston. Hi Craig.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm reasonably well.
Good, I like your shirt today.
Thank you. I do like to make an effort.
Very nice, very nice. Have you made any good bakes recently?
Do you know what? I've made a bake today.
Oh really? What did you make?
I made a 21st birthday cake.
Oh wow, for who?
For Kat.
Oh yes, I know Kat, yeah. Oh lovely.
So her mum wanted leopard print.
Oh, okay.
So I've had to do a bit of artwork on a cake today.
Wow, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
So I'll hit you up on my 18th then, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so tell me a bit more about yourself then, your interests, your family, and what you do on a daily basis.
Okay, interests. I like baking. I like artwork. I like making art and painting, so I'm into that. I love walking. I love my garden. I love my grandchildren. So, yeah, I keep pretty busy. So, obviously at church I do various things. But family, I've got 3 children, all grown up. I've got 9 grandchildren.
Wow, that many.
Sort of 9.
Oh, okay.
Because one is, well, the adopted one I count anyway. So I've got an adopted and a fostered grandchild as well. So, yeah, cool. 9 grandchildren. So that keeps me busy as well. Yeah.
Oh, good. So let's go straight into it. So what was your life like before you became a Christian?
I always want to say I was an axe murderer, but I wasn't an axe murderer. I suspect I was just a Mr. Average. I assume I was quite a pleasant guy. Possibly boring? No, I wasn't boring. You know, I loved doing drama, so I used to do drama. Before I was a Christian, I suppose that the one thing I would guess is that I didn't have somewhere to point to.
Okay.
You know, I was just going through life.
Yeah.
You know, the best I could, doing the best I wanted to do. But, yeah, just without major focus, I'm guessing. Family, and that was it.
Yeah, fair. Just a normal average life
then. Normal average life, sorry, yeah.
So I'd love to hear then when you became a Christian.
Okay, so I became a Christian when I was about 30, early 30s. Never, ever been to church before that.
Wow.
The only church was weddings, the odd wedding, and with my family they were very odd weddings.
Okay.
So... yeah, I was married for 10 years and my ex-wife now, she went through a really bad time after our 3rd child. And, you know, suicide attempts, mental illnesses, I mean, the lot. And in the end, she just moved out with my 3 children, took my children and ended up in a women's refuge. So my cousin, who was a Christian, invited me over one day just to be nice, I guess. And they took me to church for the very first time. And I was sort of blown away. The worship, the singing was amazing. And I just felt a connection because I love singing. So I connected with the singing. And yeah, a little bit after that, I used to take my dog for lots of walks because I needed to get out of the house. I needed to clear my head. And I was walking the dog one day and I heard a voice say to me, Craig, if you tell the truth, you will get your children back. So we was going through a court case because she wanted the kids. I wanted the kids. And she was telling lies about me, you know, that I never gave her any money. I used to abuse her and the children, all lies. And so my family were all telling me, well, just counter it with lies. You know, if she's lying about you, start lying about her. And which I probably would have done. But this voice said, tell the truth and you'll get your kids back. And I thought it was my dead grandmother.
Okay.
bizarre. I swear it was almost an audible voice. So I decided to tell the truth, and then I went to the library out of the blue, and I got 5 books out. 3 of them mentioned Prince of Peace within the first few pages. One of them was called Prince of Peace, nothing to do with God. Okay. And I thought, Prince of Peace, what does this mean? It seemed like there was a recurring thing, so I phoned up my cousin, and he said, well, that's another name for Jesus. And then it sort of clicked that perhaps it was Jesus' voice that I heard, and that was the beginning of my journey. Very soon after that, I started going to church on my own. Took my children to church, and then a year later, my children came to live with me full time because my ex couldn't cope. So, Jesus definitely brought me to an amazing place of believing.
Yeah, that's incredible. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your first marriage then? What difficulties you may have faced and how God ended up guiding you through them?
Yeah. I thought I was very happily married. My ex had, bizarre family. So her mum married a black guy first, had 3 children, chucked him out, then married an Irish guy, had 3 children, chucked him out. So my ex never knew her dad. And they were brought up Jehovah's Witnesses. So there was for me, slightly bizarre behaviour. Her mother was slightly weird, but I thought I'd married the sane one. As it happened, I hadn't. Yeah, and it broke down so quickly, from me being happily married to going through the worst time in my life by 1,000%. As I said, she was self-harming, suicide attempts, seeing counsellors, marriage guidance, the lot. And then one day came home and she just walked out. Taken I think it was my 10th wedding anniversary, and came back and she was gone. So life before that was okay. It really was. I worked hard, gave money for everything. Everything was going well, I thought. Little did I know that some things changed pretty drastically and pretty quickly. And pretty soon after that, that's when I found Jesus, and Jesus found me, I should say. And it just changed my focus. It changed my heart. It enabled me to forgive my ex-wife. It took a while, but I honestly knew that Jesus had forgiven me for all the bad things that I'd ever done. So how can I not forgive my ex for doing what she thought was the right thing? So, bit of a journey.
Yeah, sounds it.
But they do come out the other end, and the other end is better. So so now I'm married again to Liz, and my life has changed dramatically. When some people talk about divorce, I forget that that's me, because that seemed like, it's like born again. Oh my gosh. The old Craig and the new Craig are, quite different.
Yeah.
Hopefully better.
Yeah, well, I like
you'll be
Craig,
the judge to that.
Well, I didn't know the old Craig, so...
This is true.
But I do like the new Craig, so...
Thank you.
So, how has... Obviously, you talked about forgiveness and stuff. How did you... Obviously, like you said, you knew that Jesus forgives you, so it's, you need to forgive us, but it's not that easy sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
So do you have any pointers and advice that you would give someone that's struggling with forgiveness?
Yeah. One thing I did, which I can't remember if someone told me to do it, or anyway, I wrote her a letter.
Okay.
Saying that I forgive you. I don't think I ever sent it, but I wrote it down, and that seemed to solidify. So if you are struggling with, not forgiving, try and be honest. Write down that you forgive them, and it doesn't mean that you forget, because I know she hurt me a lot, but I forgive her because in the end I think she thought she was doing the right thing for the children. So how can I argue? So I totally have forgiven her. But it took a while. It was a journey. It certainly wasn't overnight. But yeah, writing it down just seemed to solidify it in my head. It may not work for everyone, but it worked for me.
No, good advice. Right, so let's talk a bit more about you then. So if everyone knows you, they'll know that you love to get involved in the church, like you mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast. So I'd love to know more about how God uses your hobbies and your interests and your likes and your gifts to show his love.
Well, from very early on, I've always loved kids, loved being around kids. If I was in a room with adults and kids, I know I would be talking and playing with the kids. So I used to babysit my, neighbours and my children in my family. And then I was a beaver leader. But then when I found God, or God found me, I realised that I had been given that. No, it's really not a talent, because that was really picking it up too much, but something I like doing.
Yeah.
So I straight away, as soon as I became a Christian, got involved with doing Sunday school, which was bizarre because I didn't know the Bible stories myself. So I had to read up before I even actually did the Sunday school. So I did that straight away. And it wasn't long before Liz and I changed church, and I started doing Alpha courses and leading them. And to me, Jesus and food go together so well.
I agree.
So I love cooking. So, savoury and sweet. So I think I used the talents, not the gifts, I don't know, the things that I enjoyed doing for Jesus. So I loved cooking for the Alpha. I say with the Sunday school, I did that from almost day one.
And you still do?
And I still do it, and I still generally love it. I don't like the thinking about it, but when I'm actually doing it,
it's good fun.
It's great. So, I like using the things that I like doing for Jesus because it gives it meaning and it gives back something. I've received, a massive amount from our Lord. So I feel a need to give it back. So why not use the gifts or the things that you like doing? To me, it just makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Oh, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Craig.
No problem.
You've been very inspirational.
Well, I certainly hope so. But
No, I loved hearing your story,
Cool.
and I know that the listeners will love it too. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of BCT. Let us know what you thought, and also what other things you want us to discuss and talk about more. You can follow us on most social media platforms to keep up with any updates that we may have. Bye for now.